Today, I want to talk about one of the concepts I learned during my educational journey and then later on when I started BMO that it shows you how you could find out the best way to learn anything is in as little time as possible without the headaches and the pains I went through until I figured this out on my own. And eventually, this led to BMO by itself as one of the major reasons. Now, of course, I'm telling you something that I truly believe in. I've seen it in others, and this is something that almost 90% of the time, when you're there to make this decision, the 90% of the time you could find the correct answer to that decision making process if you understand the concept. And I'm going to talk about how to learn anything really fast, get that knowledge you need so it can get you to the next stage. Whether it's like, how do I ace the MCAT? How do I ace Casper? How do I ace my interviews? How do I make my personal statement stand out? How do I get that job? How do I get into the best residency program? How do I negotiate the best salary when I have a job? How do I, for any of these things, all those things that may be something that you're missing that is very valuable to you. So before I get started, in case you have never watched any of these, my name is Behrouz Momeni. I'm the CEO and founder here at BMO. Welcome to another episode of the Admissions Expert One Question podcast, where I discuss with you one topic that's super important to you. I slice and dice it in different ways to help you make that decision on your own or be able to solve your challenges on your own based on what we've learned after helping tens of thousands of students who've been in your shoes in the past. So without further ado, let's get the show started. Okay, so what can you do to learn things really fast, especially the things that are high value to you, right? I'm not talking about, learning how to solve a jigsaw puzzle if that's not the most important thing to you. I'm talking about, hey, how do I get into med school? How do I get into the most competitive residency? How do I get into that specific medical school, not just any medical school? And you could apply this to any sort of a very important decision in your life that once you resolve this how to, it will literally change your life. How do you make that decision? How do you figure out how to learn this really fast? What do you do? In my completely biased opinion, because, well, that's the profession I'm in, this is what I've dedicated my life to, I think the best way to do that is to go and learn from people who know what they're talking about. So if you want to swim, you go and find the best swimmer or the person who has been responsible for making the best swimmers in the world. So I would go and find Michael Phelps' coach if I wanted to learn how to swim and win an Olympic medal. No question. That's it. And the question always is, so, what if I just read a book about this? Yeah, you could do that as well. It's like, yeah, so there's all those things you could do. Find a book from that person who is Michael Phelps' coach. Great. The next stage is if they have a course, can I buy the course? Great. The next stage is, it depends how much you want to invest and how much help you need and how much of a guaranteed chance of success you need. What's more effective, reading a book or getting Michael Phelps' coach to actually teach you one-on-one? Obviously, if they teach you one-on-one, it's going to be a lot more effective and more likely of success. Now, here's the other thing is, you could start that with a book. Actually, we could go even one stage back. One stage back is like, we could start from just like searching online, YouTube videos, blah, blah, all that stuff. It starts there. It's even before a book. And here's the interesting thing. As you go from least impactful to the most impactful, the cost to you will significantly increase. Now, someone would say that, well, why can't you just do it for free? Yes, you can. It's just not as effective. Depends where you are and what stage you're at in your life. But my experience, and I've had this personal experience, by the way, I had to go through this multiple times. painfully. In my experience, people, including myself, learn a lot better if the lesson is hard. People learn better if the lesson is hard. One way to make a lesson hard is to make people invest their time, money, and energy. When people invest time, money, and energy, they're more likely to do way better, because this is a psychological concept. When you invest some time or money and energy, you take that concept more seriously. You're more likely to do the exercises the coach gives you. You're more likely to actually implement their recommendations when they give you feedback. Why? Because you're invested, versus a random blog or a random online forum, let's say, and you read it, like, who's invested there? There's nothing. There's no way to even be held accountable. When you're spending money, time, and energy, and you're hiring a coach, now you want to save face, right? You don't want to look like a failure, at least in front of your coach. That alone has such an impact on your performance. I'm not making these things up. You could just Google this. They've done lots of psychological experiments where when you're more invested, you're more likely to do better than someone who's not invested. People learn better if the lesson is hard, not when the lesson is easy and they're not invested. Now, the other way to think about it is some people will be like, well, no, I don't want to pay for this. Like, they're not even willing to pay for like $1. Like, so I'll give you an example for BMO. At BMO, we have many different products. Well, we got our things like this. This is part of our mission. For example, this is absolutely free. I got absolutely nothing to sell you in these videos. It cost me a lot of time and money. It cost BMO time and money and energy. It cost you nothing because it's part of our mission. Same thing with our blogs. Like, if you've read some of our blogs, they're 3, 4, 5,000 words. They're not like some of our competitors, like 2, 3 paragraphs. And sometimes they copy ours. It's still not good. Why? Because we pay people. Again, it's no cost to you because it's part of our mission. But we pay people to put all information because we believe information should be available for free. So we have those. Then we got, so I'm gonna make my point. Then we got things that are for, so some people are not even willing to read that. Think about that. How arrogant should you be to be like, no, I don't even want to read the free stuff. I know what I'm doing. And then they go fail and be like, oh man, I got to start from scratch. So it's not sometimes cost, it's sometimes ignorance and or arrogance. Those are probably the worst things that are going to hold you back at all times. You want to try to avoid them and realize, is this what's holding me back? Is it ignorance or arrogance? If that's the case, you try to figure out how to manage those or how to identify them. So we got free stuff. Some people still don't want it. Our books cost us, we've several books. Some of them are perennial bestsellers on Amazon. If you go on Amazon, the Kindle is like 99 cents. Amazon doesn't allow us to go any lower than that. The paperback is $19.95. If you come on our website, again, it's for $1. Sometimes you will even find it for free. But guess what? People are not even willing. Some people, again, I'm just going to tell you how mentalities change. Some people are not even willing to pay that $1. Guess what? Those guys never succeed, in my experience. Next, there's rare extremes. Most of the time, they do not. And when there's rare extremes, they got help in other ways. It's like nobody wakes up and already know how to do things, no matter what it is, whether it's getting to medical school or swimming. So they got it some other way. Then we got things from $1, $50, $100, $500, $5,000, $10,000, $20,000. We got all of these continuum because as the person needs more and more and more help, it costs us more. We have to charge because eventually it's not a blog or a video. It's people's time. We have to pay our consultants, admission experts, and we got to pay them fairly. And I think we charge we actually give a very good deal because of the value people get. But the concept I wanna make here is that, again, every once in a while you'll see people that you say, hey, buy this book. I'm gonna teach you how to ace the Casper, how to ace your interview, how to ace MCAT cars for $1. And they still say no. I mean, how arrogant could someone be to say no to something like that? Where I'm like, it's gonna completely change your life. You'd rather not pay $1, 10, 50, 100, 200, 300, 400, whatever it is, when you have a guaranteed greater chance of success than if you were not to use that material. This is how you gotta think about this, because At the end of the day, somebody could come and say this to you. You're going to become a medical doctor, correct? This is what they could say to you. Medical doctors should not charge. Excuse me? Yeah. Why is that? Well, because you're charging people at their most vulnerable time. They're ill and you're squeezing them for their cash. And you would say, I'm giving them the gift of life back. Price to value is so obvious. But you'll see, you'll still have some people who are ignorant and arrogant that will make comments like that. So make sure you notice that in others and in yourself and make that decision. And again, I'm not talking about you buying stuff from BMO, by the way, in general, because I've seen people make this mistake for so many different parts of their life. Like you see people make a mistake and not get a lawyer, for example, when they have a legal issue. Yeah, I've seen people where they don't call the police when something dangerous happens to them. Like they could do so many weird stuff. Although, like, of course, police probably is not a good example because it's a free service. But when it's costs are involved, this happens a lot more because the person says, "Oh no, I can do it myself," and then they fail, and then the cost keeps going up and up and up and up. You have to understand where it's okay to do it yourself, when you're not. Where your capabilities match that, then you don't need to use. So, for example, if I was to help a friend with admissions to any school anywhere around the world, and I'm doing a favor, I'm not going to go hire someone to help this friend. I'm going to do it myself, right? Because that's my expertise. But if I need a heart surgery, I'm going to go and it's not covered by my insurance or my universal healthcare system, I'm going to go find whatever it is that could help me out with the greater chance of success, and probably somebody with experience rather than someone who's just been graduated, because they have the greater chance of success to help me out and do the surgery rather than me be like, I'm just going to do it myself. I'm going to watch a couple of YouTube videos and go on a forum to see how I should deal with that myself. So you have to understand where this is laughable, where, yeah, it's okay because it's your capability, or it's not that important in your life. That was it for me. I hope my 2 cents about this concept, it's been on my mind for a while, gives you a little bit of a broader perspective on how to decide when you should use coaching or not. And in my opinion, when you think it is the best way to utilize and pay for a service to help you out, it's usually the fastest way to get things done. That's what I said. If you want to learn something, there's the fastest way. That's how I started with this video. The fastest way is to go find somebody who knows how to do this, and it's their expertise, and get them to help you as soon as possible. That's the fastest way, because time is money. You'll never get time back, and it sucks if you have to repeat the same thing over and over again. And as you've heard, the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and expecting different results. That was it for me. Thanks so much for watching. If you enjoyed this, share this with a friend who may enjoy this as well. Subscribe so you don't miss any of my future episodes, and I hope to talk to you soon.